my mom's having a Guinness with Billy Joe from Green Day.
Yeah.
You know, or I just basically just hand her a pass and let her do her thing now. I mean, early on, I'd have to, you know, make sure that she had her room and she was comfortable and she wasn't getting accosted by other people. And now, you bring Mom to a show and it's like she's in the band. She's like part of the crew.
Has she ever stage dive?
Hell no. No, but
she should.
No, she shouldn't. No. I remember taking her out into the front row of at a rock festival. The Prodigy were playing, headlining this festival. It was like a field of 70,000 people just bouncing up and down like an army. And my mom wanted to go front row. And I said, no. Like, I don't want to, please don't. Please? And she said, I want to go front row. And so I pulled my mom into 50,000 people, and she danced to the Prodigy for a few songs. And she said, okay, now get me the hell out of here. You know. But she's great. I mean, both of my parents were always really supportive, but my mother especially. Like, I think when I was young, she knew that there was something about me that was going to be all right. She had faith in me as an individual, and even when I was young, I had this independent spirit that I felt like I don't need to take that conventional 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, 4 years. I just kind of figured I'd be all right.
Just seize life and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it. I felt like that when I was a kid, and I think my mom knew. I think my dad wanted me to, you know, go to the Army or something like that, but my mom was really, she knew. Because when I told her I was leaving school, she said, all right, well, you better be good at this. I'm like, I'll try.
That's a good mum.
Yeah.
Before the Foo Fighters, of course, Nirvana, and the album, you know, that seminal album, Nevermind. Before that came out, you and Kurt and Chris would drive around the Hollywood Hills listening to the tapes. Did it sound special? What did you hear?
When it's three guys in a band, it just seems like three guys in a band to you, you know? I think Nirvana means something else to everyone else. Really, it was just three dudes who played music, and we sounded good when we played together, and it was really simple, you know?
Everything did change. I mean, you actually ended up with that cliche anthem to a generation, which in particular was the song Smells Like Teen Spirit. For those who may never have seen or heard it, here's a bit. Is it hard to get your head around something so small, you know, the three of you becoming so huge?
Yeah, sort of. There are parts of it that I understand. There's parts of it that I can understand why it made sense at the time. I mean, that was 1991, and there wasn't a lot of music that people could relate to at the time. You had a lot of like glam rock, heavy metal bands that sang songs about cocaine and limousines and chicks, and they all wore makeup, and I don't know anybody like that, so it was hard to relate to that. Or you had Michael Bolton, and so it was slim pickings at the time. You know?
He was great.
Well, but so so I can understand how it maybe struck a chord with a lot of kids. But then there are other things that I mean, you can't imagine something like that happening in your life. I was 21 or 22 years old, you know, and I was a kid. I had a blast.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Was it your reaction to go out and buy stretch limiters that stretch sideways?
No, you know what's funny is that I remember the first check I got was $750, and that's the most money I'd ever had in my bank account at one time in my life. And I remember the first thing I did, I got a BB gun, a Nintendo, and a tattoo. And then I had to wait for the next check. I was screwed. But yeah, I mean, that was my first purchase. That's when I knew I made it.
As we know, Kurt killed himself in '94.
Yeah.
Does it amaze you the way suicide rewrites a history. Every lyric becomes a portent of doom. Suddenly nobody ever had a good time, had a laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that it ended that way, because ultimately it just leaves everyone with this question mark, you know, everybody involved. So, yeah, it really was a horrible ending to something really beautiful. And you're right. What it does is it leads everyone to believe that the band walked with a black cloud over our heads the whole time. But it was fun. Like, it was so much of it was really fun. You know, I have just as many questions as most people, but at the same time, I have a lot to look forward to. So rather than spend too much time in the past, when Kurt died, I realized, okay, life is so delicate, it's so short, that you really have to take advantage of every day, you know, that I'm lucky enough to wake up this morning. Even if it's the worst day of my life, I still get to be, you know. And since then I've had that attitude. It has a lot to do with why I started this band. Because I wasn't done yet, you know. I might die tomorrow. But as long as I spend every day like it's a gift, then I'll be fine, you know.
When you came out with the Foo Fighters, which was about a year after Nirvana ended, you came out from behind the drums. There you were out front. Was that liberating? Was it a bit scary?
God, it was scary.
Yeah.
It was so scary, and it was one of the reasons why I did it. I mean, it's that thrill of, it's, you know, it's like a roller coaster, or just being terrified to do something and doing it and finishing with it, walking off stage and feeling the most incredible relief. Oh, God, I did it. I still feel that way.
Yeah?
Fuck, man, I'm horrified. I'm horrified doing this. Like, this is weird to me, you know? But absolutely. It's what keeps it exciting, you know?
Was it a totally different dynamic when you got on the stage, because the drummer, you're up the back.
Yeah.
You can sort of pick and choose who you're going to look at. But when you're at the front, you've got to engage. Was that a totally different dynamic for you?
Yeah, you get way more chicks, too. Absolutely. I mean, you know, as a drummer, drumming is physical, you know, it's like dancing, and you kind of shut everything off and you lose yourself in the song. It's sort of the same as a lead singer, but, you know, you also have to bring the audience in, you know. I mean, the idea that Freddie Mercury could get 60,000 people to do vocal exercises with him in the middle of a show, that's incredible, you know, to be able to turn an arena into a small club, you know, to somehow reach the people that are all the way in the back. That's a challenge. That's the kind of thing that I'm still trying to figure out.
You said that you get way more chicks when you're the lead singer. After your third album, The Colour and the Shape, you went off to LA, you're a single guy, and in your words, you screwed and partied for a whole year.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did say that. Does that lose its value after a while?
Yeah, about a year.
Bravo.
Yeah. After about a year, you know, I retreated to Virginia. I grew up in Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C., and after living in Los Angeles, I can understand how people just get lost there and disappear forever. I mean, it can be paradise. It could, if that's your thing, you know. But it can be a lot of fun when you're young and newly single. And
did your family kind of, you went back to Virginia where your family are, did they kind of say, Dave, come in, Dave?
No. It wasn't like that. I did that for myself. I think that, I think what happened was that I started experiencing that side of rock and roll that you'd imagine every person in a band to go through, and the circus that I was talking about, you know. And I didn't like it. It didn't work for me, you know. I decided that...
That's meant to be the rock thing, though, isn't it?
It kind of is, yeah. But see, I'm also, I mean, I stopped doing drugs when I was about 20 years old. 20 or 21, maybe 20.
Why'd you stop?
It just made me feel weird. I don't know how to better explain it, but I didn't feel like I needed it, and I didn't, you know, I'd smoke weed and get panic attacks and get hives, and it was horrible. I think I turned allergic to it, actually.
Yeah.
But
Suddenly Michael Bolton songs made sense.
Yeah. And then I just drank those out of my head. But